Welcome back. Today, like I said, we're looking at woman, stock up for yourself. In life, we cannot pour from the place of empty. You can't give what you do not have. And this is where stocking up comes to play. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Up You with Ezinne on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'd love to connect with you and keep the conversation going long after this program has ended. So who is ready for this episode? Woman, stock up on yourself. Keep it locked on Up You with Ezinne. Let's learn together and begin to create the tomorrows we want today. Our guest is already in the studio, ready to discuss today's topic, which, of course, I have told you is woman, stock up on yourself. So our guest is Mrs Alaba Fagun. Alaba has over 23 years of experience in the real estate sector, having been involved in commercial, residential, institutional, and financial-based projects. Her most recent employment was at UPDC Facility Management Limited. She initially joined as the head of facilities management for UPDC PLC. Then, following the creation of UPDC FM, she was appointed founding managing director. Mrs. Fagun started her career as an architect at 𝐒𝐨𝐤 Partnership. Thereafter, working at the Architects Co Partnership, Hertfordshire, United Kingdom, where she gathered field experience. She then worked in other architectural and real estate companies in the UK before joining Brawl Property Services Limited, Lagos, Nigeria, where she served as a senior manager properties. Following on from Brawl, Mrs. Fagun served first as the head major projects at Union Bank PLC, Lagos, Nigeria, and later as their head of facilities management. She holds a Bachelor of Environmental Science and Bachelor of Architecture distinction degrees from the University of Lagos, Nigeria. She is member of the British Institute of Facility Management and has undertaken several executive training courses in facilities and financial management. Mrs. Alaba Fagun is currently the Managing Director, CEO of Berger Paints PLC. Dear listeners, please join me in welcoming our special guest this morning on the show. Alaba, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good morning.
And good morning, Lagos.
Did I say that well? You know, because I normally would say beggar, but I had to look it up because of you, and I hear it's Berger.
It's Berger Paints.
Oh, wow.
Nigeria, PLC.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So welcome on this program this morning. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
You look amazing as always.
Thank you, dear.
Thank
you, and you too.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get cracking. I guess actually our listeners are waiting to hear what it is we want to talk about today. So I'm going to always start like I usually do by asking you, what's your perspective of the topic under discussion? Woman, stock up on yourself.
Okay, thank you, Ezinne. What's my perspective? A woman must learn to empower herself. You must learn to say no when you have to say no. So helping others, you is second. You are first. You must always think of yourself first. If whatever you're doing is stressing you or is haunting you, then please, it's not worth it. So ladies, please learn to say no. Another area is of empowering yourself is to think positive. To be empowered, you have to think empowered. You must make a conscious effort to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. You are your number one supporter. So it's important to stay positive and believe in yourself. Take care of yourself. Is another way to empower yourself. This entails taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and even financially. Ladies, learn to spoil yourself. Choose a time when you go out with friends. Choose a time when you buy yourself something new. Choose a time to also stay healthy. Healthy women tend to be confident women, women who love, women who respect themselves enough to value their mind and body and take care of themselves. So I would say empower yourself, women.
Wow. I love the perspective you've brought. women, empower yourself. So stocking up on yourself is just literally empowering yourself. And I like the point you made. First, you must value yourself enough to be able to keep some of yourself back for yourself, to not overstretch and say yes to everything that comes your way. Amazing. I find I'm guilty of that. I just keep saying, okay, I'll do it for you. Yes, I'll do it for you. And then I have everything is weighing me down, and I now become very, very angry, and I become very resentful. And then I now start lashing out at the people that I'm supposed to be helping. So yes, I do agree with you on that point. Very great points that you've made, Alaba. Thank you. And that brings me to the second thing I was going to ask you. A lot of times, a lot of women, we put everything before us. Children, career, husbands, even parents, we put everything before us. And sometimes I just keep asking myself, come, Ezinne, are you going to enter a car that the driver has not looked after himself to be taking you from point A to point B? Assuming I want to go from 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐤 to Lekki, and I look at the driver, and the driver is unkempt, disheveled, not enough sleep, scattered. I'm not gonna enter. So I keep asking, why do women do that? Why do we always put everything before us?
Very good question, Ezinne, and I think this is because the society in which we live in expects women to put everything before themselves. Our mothers did it, and we're just following suit. Women give up everything for their children, which I think is just maternal instincts. Talk about, you look at your child in school. Women, if your child isn't doing well, they would say, where is the mother? They never say, where is the father?
True.
But when a child is doing well,
it is that man's son or that man's daughter.
Exactly. Look at a woman who goes to work, drives through traffic. She's in traffic. Her husband too goes to work. She's in traffic. She gets back home. What does she do? She only takes off her shoes, and then what? She starts multitasking. Is making dinner, helping the children with homework. Where is the man? Where's the husband? How many times do you find our husbands doing, making us dinner? It's very rare. So I think women don't always want to put themselves first, but I think it's because the society expects us to. We have to be selfish sometimes.
Is that really being selfish, looking after yourself?
It's not being selfish, I agree, but I think in this context you say you have to be selfish.
Okay, I remember when I first got married new, in those days of love is shocking you. So my husband went in to make a meal for us. I remember vividly, it was a meal of spaghetti. And when he served it, my mom was around then because I had just given birth to our baby. And my mom now said, Tofiakwa, I cannot eat this food. Ezinne, please don't let them return you to me. How can your husband be the one cooking? And I'm like, okay, so I just gave birth. And I gave birth through CS. And so I should go and cook at this, So you're right. It's society that puts pressure on us, and then we feel guilty about, taking the little pleasures and sharpening our saws. I'm just going to, at this point in time, open the studio line so that we can have people call in. The number to call is 0913 6000 410. Over time, we find that we're conditioned, and then we tend to put everybody before us. But that's not the case with the Gen Z. The children that we delivered,
Absolutely not.
Those children know how to take care of themselves, and then they will say to you, get a life,
Yes.
So now you and I are beginning to think about how to do what? Get a life. Okie dokie. All right, we agree that it's not possible to pour from a place of empty. Please share with us 5 things a woman can do to stock up on herself. Stock up on her character, stock up on her joy, and stock up on her peace of mind.
we spoke about the Gen Zs. So we also need to find ourselves. We also need to. So find yourself, ladies. Who are you?
Good.
What do you enjoy doing? What do you want to do with yourself or with your life after looking after your children, which is just a phase? Set goals for yourself. Give yourself some time to look. Set goals for yourself, which gives you time to look forward to the goals that you have set. Pace it out so that you're not stressed. Make time for yourself. Rest when you can. Be happy with yourself. Have a good support system. When I say have a good support system, if you need a nanny in the house to help you with your children, if you need a driver, if you can afford it, if you need a cook, have your sisters, have your friends, have your, just ensure that you have a good support system. Well, if you can also manage your husband so that he supports you, it's also a good
Go ahead and do that.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. I like those points you've made. And I'm going to go to somewhere dicey now. And I'm happy that both of us are happily married women. So what I'm going to be saying next will not be construed as me not wanting anybody to get married. You see, when I got married believing that if you get married, then tra-la, you now go onto the happiness lane. And it shocked me for my husband to say to me the very next day after I got married that his job isn't to make me happy, because I opened my mouth that morning and say, yes, Kay, now that we're married, make me happy. And he was like, that's not my job description. Happy must be inside of you before you can draw out happy from any other place. I was so disappointed, and I said, Ezinne, you've entered one chance. People get married
Don't we all say
and are happy, and you've gotten married now. The morning after the marriage, you're being advised, my job is not to make you happy. He even went for, because I'm a religious person, he actually pulled out the Bible too and showed me in the Bible, your desire shall be for your husband. He said it's a curse. That he wasn't there initially, that it was after Eve fell that came. So this idea of following your husband bumper to bumper, going through his phone, reading, you're just opening up yourself for. So therefore, what am I saying? For most of us, we actually just fall into that trap of thinking, oh well, we're married now, so yeah, the man has to pour into me, he has to love me, he has to fill me up. And then we end up with women that are sad, that are depressed, and we're banding this word narcissism everywhere. What do you have to say?
Women must learn to look after themselves, which I would always say that. Speak up. If you can't take, I would say from the onset, please, women always give up. Women give up their name and get married. Not so. If you give up your name, it means what? You're going to your husband's house. But meanwhile, your husband is supposed to go there, look for, he's the one that's getting married, and he brings his wife. But really, the women forget, leave their own family and go with the husband. Okay, so women must self-care, must self-love, and self-preserve yourself. So I won't stop saying, look after yourself, which is self-care. Don't overwork yourself. Get a driver if you can afford it. Get a nanny if you can. Self-love. You have to be consistently teaching yourself, that you must love yourself. Surround yourself with positive people. Stop comparing yourself with others. Prioritize self-care. Teach your children early to cook, to clean.
So they can help you.
And there will also be mom's time. You know, if you're a working mother who goes to work Monday through to Friday, and you get back late. Saturday you do all your chores. Sunday you go to church. Please, ladies, come back home early. I know some of you are workers in churches, but in your church, but you don't have to stay late, so that you can have your me time after you've prepared your lunch. So the entire family knows that between 4 and 7 is mommy's me time. Mommy can sleep. Mommy can go to the hairdressers. Mommy can she can pamper herself. She can do things. So self-care is very important. Self-love, self-preservation. I would say protect yourself. It's yourself first, ladies. It's yourself, because a happy mother is a happy home. It's actually
a happy home. True.
A woman who has money, I would say, her children are happy because you can provide for them. If you can't provide for your children, you will be very unhappy. If you are, and forgive me, listeners, if you're in an abusive relationship, please consider staying away until you can sort things out, so that this doesn't affect your children.
Very valid, so that your children do not get affected. I keep saying to people that God forbid that we bring children into this world, and then through a wrong choice of a life partner, we also now hurt the children. We should try as much as possible not to transfer these things. The phone line to call, text and WhatsApp is 0913 6000 410. Alaba, you've made some valid points here. Me time for yourself, you find that when women are unhappy, instead of them to introspect, they tend to fill their time with more things, just like saying, well, let me just stay outside and be doing A, B, C, D. By the time I get home, it will just be hit the bed and sleep. But you see, what happens is that you crash.
Correct.
You crash one day. So you're making that point. Self-care, self-love, self-preservation that you made is very, very key. Thank you for it. Thank you. But you see, another thing you mentioned, you said we shouldn't be very competitive, but we have been socialized to be competitive. Because, take for instance, I'm looking at you and you're very successful. I'm looking at you, you're married, you live in a nice house, you have nice children, you drive a nice car. And I'm going to be saying, what's wrong with me? You see how they say it now, God, when? God, am I your stepchild? So we've been socialized to think that way. How can we also now unsocialize ourselves? Because that is an energy drainer. That's an energy drainer, and it can be dangerous. How can women stock up, in themselves enough to stay on their lane and focus on their primary journeys?
Okay. Ezinne, when a woman knows herself, you will not be competitive.
That's your first point, right? Know yourself.
Know yourself. We all have different journeys. Our fingers are not equal. Why must we compete amongst ourselves? Why? Let's take look at this scenario. There are two women. One woman A has lives in a good house. She has a husband who looks after her. He provides for her. She's a housewife, or so she doesn't need to think about school fees. She doesn't need to think about building a house. She doesn't need to send money to her family. Her husband takes care of everything. If you look at woman B is married, or may not be, and she has to work. She has to juggle her full-time job with her side gig, to ensure that that house, she has to move from her rented apartment to her own place. She has her children's school fees to think about. Why must she compete or why must she look at Lady A, who has a husband to look after her? We all have different journeys. So please, I would say that pursue your own journey. The thought of being competitive won't occur if you do pursue your own journey.
It's crazy for someone who is the other lady, Lady B, to now be, because what that will breed is envy and jealousy, and those are really very negative energies that nobody needs to be traveling with. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I'm learning a lot this morning. I'm really learning a lot. And that also brings me to another thing that I wanted you to talk about. Sometimes we find that as women, we are living through our children. Those things we would have wanted to do that we couldn't do for whatever reasons, we're now doing them through our children. So maybe we wanted to dress up in a certain way and maybe our parents couldn't afford it, and so now we have children, we're dressing them up in that way, and then we're trying to live our lives so we're our children and not letting these children be and grow at their pace and find out who they are, thereby making the same mistake that we're suffering from, of not realizing or knowing who we are, maybe until now, that we're now asking questions of ourselves. So how can a woman take whatever it is she's dealing with and not pass it on to her children? How can she fill up on herself, deal with her past traumas and experiences without placing it on the children?
Let your children be. We all make mistakes in life. Let them make mistakes, and then you correct them along. If they don't make the mistakes, they won't be confident. And being confident, of course, we know that it helps you in your everyday life. So I would say, ladies, let your children grow up. Let them make mistakes. You can't impose yes, you can teach them the good things of life. You can guide them, and let them know that if you do it this way, it is you probably will turn out a better person. But let them make their own mistakes. We made our own mistakes along the way. We obviously, some of us lied to our parents.
You want to go there?
Some of us lied to our parents. So let your children, the children today will not lie to you. They will come out and say, this is what they're doing.
You aren't going to do anything anyway. They know their rights. Even though the rights do not even, hang on very well in this country. They know their rights. Right.
So you can only guide them. Don't worry. Because when you worry, you have to make a conscious decision not to worry about things. And let them have their own journey. And don't take Panadol for somebody else's stress.
I like that. On that note, we have a message on the platform here. It's coming from Shola, and Shola sent it in from Lagos. Shola says, good morning. Congratulations on your position as the MD of Berger Paints. Please, madam, how do you manage your position as an MD, which I know is quite demanding, and your home front as a wife, considering that you're a young mother? You're on the spotlight. Thank you, Shola. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Shola, and good morning to you. Shola, well, my children are a lot older, so there's not much. Now I'm guiding them. But I was once a mother with young children. And at the time, I looked at, you have to, find a job that would allow you to find time with your children, for your children. Again, I've always stressed that you must have a good support system in your work of place. Have a friends, a boss that that is very supportive. One thing I did when my children, were in primary school, the school we signed them up for, was in 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐿, and my sister lived in 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐿. I was working on the island, so I had to look for a school that I had good friends, that the kids were going to that school. My sister was living close by. If we were not able to pick the children, my sister would pick them up. So support system, finding support system is good. My children are used to homework time. When they come back from school, I used to help them with their homework over the phone. I empowered them. I would ask them to go on the internet. What does it mean? We'll talk through it, over the phone. They write. When I come back at night, fortunately, they have to sleep late too, because they would have copied the homework into their into the home book, and then now copied into the
one they will take to school.
The one they take to school. Weekends, Saturdays was family time. If I had to go to work, I put my children in the car. So you would have to juggle it. There is no clear route to looking after your children, finding time for the home. I used to cook then. I used to cook for my children on Saturdays and Sundays. I used to find time for them so that at least they know that there's mommy. It wasn't just the house help and all that. So you would have to find your own time. There's no right answer or wrong answer to this thing. You need to find your own time.
You need to find what works for you.
But we've already said it, support system, find yourself, look after yourself. It's very important.
Yeah. Shola, thank you for that, because you took my question. I was gonna say you're a very beautiful, successful woman. Oftentimes when I think about you, I wonder how is she doing it, and how do you always have yourself all looking together, glam, and the home front is popping, and the kids have grown up really good and very contributory and productive in the society, So I said I was gonna catch you one day, and I was gonna say, can you share your personal restock strategies with us? Because we want to be like you.
Some women may not agree with me on this, but the person you marry actually
makes or mars you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So women, please pray hard. Pray for your husbands, or pray before you get married.
I'm praying for my daughter, whose birthday is tomorrow.
Congratulations to her.
Thank you.
So, you want to marry somebody who helps you to achieve your dreams.
Yes.
You want to discuss your dreams with your partner, your husband, whoever, and he encourages you to say, to achieve your dreams. I mean, if he's not supportive, trust me, it can either go left or right. Another thing is, I would always stress on it, good support system. Take a job that will allow you time with your children. Have your children attend the same school with good friends, share rides and, share time with looking after your children. If you can take them to school, take them, or if you can pick them up, pick them. As a woman, you must sometimes sacrifice and set a balance. As an individual, you have to pace out your goals, which I've always said, and achieve them on time. This is to ensure that you're not under pressure. So those are some of the key areas that I would like women to focus on.
Okay, we have another message on the platform. It says, this is from Festus. Festus is a man, and this is from Festus in Mushi, and he says, good morning. Please, how do you handle a wife with character disorder? We have a call coming in as well. While you're thinking on that.
I will, Festus. I will come back to you on that.
Good morning, up you with Ezinne. Who is calling and where are you calling?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Monserrat from Anthony.
Monserrat, how are you?
I'm good. I really enjoyed this program. I have to say thank you to Madam Shola. All she said is so relative to me. Like, if I feel like if this is talking about my mom, she's just someone like this. She's supportive, you know. She supports her dad, my dad. So I wish to be just like my role model. And what I've learned over time is, in marriage, for you to be happy in your marriage, you need to be happy yourself. Like, you don't have to rely on your husband to make that. Do something that makes you happy. Like, do yourself. When you have happiness personally, then you can be happy in your marriage. Don't do what you want to. Be happy personally. That's what I feel. So as for the children, support the children, sacrifice, take a balance. I really love that. I really appreciate Madam Shola for her contribution. I really like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mosrat. Our guest is Madam Alaba, and thank you. We do like your contribution. So back to our friend Festus from Mushin very quickly. Festus seems to be saying, how do you manage a wife with a character defect? How can she pour into herself?
Festus, I would say women are very powerful. But again, relationships, how do you know she has a character issue? You know, you must have you married her, you loved her, there must have been something good about her when you married her. So why are you saying 3, 4, 5 years down the line that she has a character issue?
Or even one day down the line?
One day. What did you do to make the woman have the character issue? She must have been a lovely woman when you married her. So please, you know, I wouldn't say she's I wouldn't say the issue is you or the issue is her. But what I'm going to say is that, please, you know, if you don't communicate with her, talk to her. Why is she being unreasonable? Why does she have this character issue when the relationship didn't start off that way?
Yeah.
Women if a woman is pushed to the wall, trust me, she's going to show you the other side. She
can actually turn.
So,
that's interesting.
Search yourself, talk to her, sit down, ask her what the issues are, and please don't forget to pray. Pray with your wife. By the time you pray with her, I'm sure, you know, things will be better.
Well, thank you, Festus. I hope that helps you. It's difficult to answer your question because you didn't exactly say what character flaw that is at play here. And so my guess is answering from a blind spot. However, love conquers everything. We pray that you find love to be able to talk through and walk through and resolve the issue that is at play in your union. Thanks to Mrs. Alaba Fagun for the insightful contributions, and this is Doyin Oladeji, and she says she appreciates you very much, and then her question is, what's your opinion on a woman opting to be a full-time housewife? This question is to a woman who is a managing director, CEO of a blue chip company. Now somebody wants to know what you think about, I've chosen not to do any of the things you've done. I just want to sit at home, look after my children, be a good wife, love myself.
Doyin, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a full housewife.
Bravo!
If that is the journey that you've chosen to explore. If your husband can look after you and you know he's generous, he's kind, please go for it. If he's not, please go find a job.
Run for your life and make your own nest, right? Yes. Okay, so my phone question for you. From the look of things, it's going to be a lean Christmas this year.
Yes.
For many people. I haven't even had a Christmas jingle. It's only me singing the theme by myself in the shower every morning. You know, so that kind of tells me that all the chickens have run away. Please, Alaba, can you quickly, as we close up, you know, share some ideas for women on how they can stock up to create a memorable Merry Christmas for their families?
My advice would be, if you used to eat chicken in the past and you can't afford chicken, please buy beef. If you used to go away to some hotel for the weekend and you can't afford it, please stay home. if you used to go to the village and you know that it costs so much money, I mean, not only the logistics but also security. It's something an issue now. Please stay in Lagos or stay wherever you live and enjoy your Christmas. Just basically rest and have fun with your children and your family.
Okay, so basically the spirit of Christmas is actually the Christmas. The Christmas is not in the food or the chicken or the new clothes. Yes. Wash the old ones, dry clean them, iron them, enjoy Christmas. I was going to wrap on that stuff, but a very interesting question just came in. And Alaba, I am going to hold you to answer this one. It's from Ola in Ebeda. And Ola says, good morning to the guest and host. Good morning, Ola. Please, what happens to a woman who won't share in financial responsibility despite earning a healthier income than the husband? Very quickly, wrap in 2 minutes.
Okay. If a woman earns more than her husband, does the woman spend on... Well, most women will spend on their children. Most women will look at their husbands. If their husbands contribute the little they have, they will contribute. So I'm going to go ask you the same question, Ola. The little you have, do you give your wife 70% or 80%?
Yes.
And then she will top up the 20 and then save her money for the rainy day. Because you know, if she earns more, she can store the money, and then maybe when you guys need to go on holiday, she would be the one to pay for it. Or you want to buy a house, she has saved enough. Or you want to pay school fees, she has saved enough. But you must be seen to put your money in that.
Yeah, but Alaba, Ola is saying she doesn't just contribute despite having the money.
Ola, I find it difficult that if a woman is happily married, she has children, her husband also contributes, she will contribute.
Thank you. You have actually hit the nail on the head. The word there, Ola, is happy. Your wife is unhappy about certain things because women will freely give you their money. So if she's not contributing, she's unhappy about some things. It's time to do a sit down and have a discussion with your spouse. I wish you all the very best as you do this, and I hope that next time you tell us that there have been some improvements, because love a woman, she gives you everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so finally, Alaba, can I ask you, as we wind down this conversation and get set to go into 2023, can you please leave us with some inspirational words and advice? You know, speaking to 2023 for us, what should women generally focus on?
Okay, we all hear from the financial gurus that there's so many uncertainties in 2023. So I'm just going to say that women, we know that we're good managers. We must cut down our expenses. The fuel situation now, we're also unsure what's going to happen. So I'm going to say that if you used to go out every day, plan your activities and cut down to 3 days to reduce your expenses and save on your fuel. Stay home if you can, work from home if your job allows you to. Cut down on your waka, as we always say. Women buy in bulk. If it's too much for you, share with friends, share with your mother, share with sisters. If your generator is on 24/7,
does anybody still do that? When you don't own a filling station?
You are still rich enough. You can reduce it to a few hours. If your children are young and you used to go to a private club and you cannot afford it, my dear sisters, bring out a big, as we used to call it, bath, put water in it, let your children play in the bath, splash water themselves and come back in. If your children are older, ladies and gentlemen, I would say gentlemen, this is the time to let them know that they must earn a everything that they get from they must earn it.
That this is the real world.
This is the real world.
True.
They must earn it. Look at our people in the abroad now. Don't they?
You pay for everything. You live with your parents and you're paying for everything.
So let her children know that the good things of life now, you must earn it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice for 2023.
Thank you. I love me some down-to-earth woman. No matter how successful she is down to earth. And that is Alaba for you. Thank you very much. You wrapped this up so nicely. And it is actually still my pleasure to have had you as a guest today on the show. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing with us. We've learned a lot from you. And from the messages that we got on the platform that are still even streaming in, you know that people were enjoying and following the conversation. Thank you so much. Dear woman, this is where we bring this to a wrap today. And my take today is, you cannot give what you do not have. You must first of all take care of yourself. You must pour into yourself. You must look after yourself. But you see, that starts from you understanding who you are. When you now know who you are, you now know what you want. Then you now put a system to support you to be all that you can be and to do all that you can do. Like one of my mentors used to say, there's only one El Shaddai. And so if you attempt to be the El Shaddai, ma'am, you're going to turn out to be I shall die. And then that is not what is acceptable or what you plan for yourself. So please take out time this Christmas to look after yourself. Paint your nails. Paint your lip bright red. Do your hair. Use a color you've never tried on before. Dress up in a color that nobody will think you wear. Do something that just makes your heart smile. It starts from there. When you begin to smile by yourself, for yourself, then it's easier for you to attract people to smile back at you, you know. So this is where we wrap up today's edition of Up with Ezinne. It's been another amazing one. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook at Up with Ezinne. We have exciting announcements going up any moment from now on those platforms. You don't want to miss them. Big up to everyone that is involved in creating this magic every week, starting with you, our dear listeners, our guests, our advertiser, the callers, the engineers on duty, my producer, the amazing OPU team, Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. You all stay strong, stay blessed, stay lifted. My name is Ezinne 𝐒𝐿. Until I come your way next time, is OPU.